My stepdaughter's birth mom ignored her medical needs, sending her to the ER, then filed fake abuse reports against me. When I begged her to stop, she smirked and said, "You're traumatizing her, not me." And I walked away. That was 2 years ago. But today, she can't hurt us anymore. When I met my husband, Jack, I thought him being a single father was a green flag because his daughter Lucy was sick and very well taken care of. It was obvious that Jack spent more money on her than he spent on himself. So, getting married seemed like a no-brainer. I myself was infertile, so helping to take care of his daughter was more of a gift than a burden. Even when she ended up in hospital with a feeding tube shoved down her throat or vomited all over her clothes for 2 days straight, I always took it as an opportunity for us to become closer because she had gastroparesis, which is basically a condition where the stomach muscles don't function as they should. It was something she had struggled with since birth. But that didn't stop me from loving her any less. In fact, there was only one thing I truly hated about her, and that was her birth mom, Becky. Up until our wedding, Becky was completely out of the picture. Jack hadn't even heard from her since the custody hearing 3 years prior. And according to him, halfway through the court case, she threw her hands up and said, "Just effing take her!" before walking out and awarding him with full custody. He promised he was done with her, and I believed him until one day on Lucy's 7th birthday party when Becky showed up out of nowhere. We hosted it in our local Chuck E. Cheese and invited her whole class. But when we showed up early to make sure everything was set up, Becky reared her ugly head out of nowhere. "Long time no see," she screamed at the top of her lungs before wrapping her hands around my husband's face. "Mommy!" Lucy yelled before jumping into her arms. I turned my head to face Jack, whose face filled with terror and fear. "What are you doing here?" he asked, voice shaking. That's when Becky pulled his hand into another room to talk. Meanwhile, I made sure to keep Lucy entertained with the silly bands I always kept in my pocket. When they got back, Jack told me that Becky would be staying with us to celebrate her birthday. Panic filled my body, but I knew the day wasn't about me or Becky. It was about Lucy, so I just bit my tongue and let her celebrate with us. But the next day, Jack and I talked about it. He told me that even just the thought of being around Becky repulsed him, but he thinks it would be good for Lucy to spend time with her. So I agreed until one day when Lucy spent the day at mini golf with Becky, because when she got home, she spent the entire night vomiting into a bowl. She tried to convince me that it was just a stomach bug, but after some light interrogation, she finally told me the truth. She had eaten spicy food. Rage boiled my blood. I had made it crystal clear how important her dietary precautions are, and texted her a list of foods that Lucy had to stay away from, as well as a photo of the menu from where they were going, where I circled everything she was allowed to eat. I immediately ran to Jack, expecting him to go no contact with Becky. He called her straight away, but instead of blocking her on everything, he hung up the phone and tried to convince me it was just a misunderstanding, that Becky just needed some time to adjust to mothering again. I pinched the bridge of my nose because even though I wasn't her biological mother, I knew what was best for her. After all, I was the one who had spent countless hours with her at the hospital. The one who held her hair back and wiped her tears as she vomited all night. But I wanted to show him that I trusted his judgment as a father. So I let him win the battle. As soon as Lucy got better, she asked if I would finally take her to the all-you-can-eat sushi restaurant on Ocean Drive. So I did what I always do when Lucy asked me to do things that her doctor has warned against. I lied. I told her that it was illegal for anyone under the age of 16 to go in. Well, a few weeks later, Becky, they had planned to spend time with her again. This time, I specifically told her not to bring her to the all-you-can-eat sushi.